Вітаю! В студії працює Марія Цигилик, і сьогодні у нас в гостях польська режисерка та продюсерка, чиї документальні фільми були номіновані на премію Еммі та Оскар. Це Hanna Polak. Hello, Hanna.
Hello, hi.
Nice to see you here.
Nice to meet you, nice to see you.
Okay. Your documentary film, Something Better to Come, was awarded with special prize of jury in a festival in Amsterdam, IDFA. The other one, documentary, Children of Leningradsky, was awarded for Oscar and Emmy. Tell me please, how is it possible to make interesting and true documentary?
Well, I think it's a very complicated question, but you know, usually people tell you that such film on such subject, it already exists. Nobody is interested in this subject anymore. And basically, televisions, they would usually tell you, oh, you know, we are not very keen to follow this kind of subject. And yet, somehow or other, I worked with a producer who says there is no interesting subject, there are interesting directors. And I think this is true. Of course, there are some subjects which are hot, which are important, which are current, which are interesting for people. But I think if you find your own approach to a subject, if you find your own way of coming close to people and showing them in a not a cliché way, I think you are going to create a picture which will surprise people, which will because it's only the subject is only like it's not actually the subject is not what the film really is about. It's only a way of telling something through the subject. So I feel that this is I don't know how the predłog, ja хочу сказать. The predłog, I forgot the word in English, so you will have to cut. But I think the subject is only something which you choose to tell some kind of deep story which is important, which is human. And I think this is the recipe for me for a successful film. That you have your own way of telling a story, seeing something more important, just going much more deep than normally people would think, this is the film, what it is about. Yes, I'm always looking for a human subject, for a new and interesting way of approaching a hero, of coming very, very close, on showing the universalism. It's, you know, because we have, for example, a cliché about homeless people or homeless children, but if you come close and you see how beautiful the people are, how they dream, how they play, how they sing, how they need love. So all these different things are very, very, very universal, and I think this is the way of breaking through all this, like I said, clichés about, like usually people show those kind of people as victims. I don't see them as victims. Of course they are very unfortunate to be in a certain situation, but I do not want to stand on a position when I look down upon these people. I want to look up to these people. I want to see their beauty, their kindness, their love, their friendship. I want to see these human qualities which make this movie universal, which make this movie, this protagonist close to our heart, maybe even better than us. So I think this is my way of breaking through this kind of, like I said, cliché. You know, this is what I mean when I say that you need to find your own way of approach, of story.
And for example, work on your film Something Better to Come lasted for 15 years, and people who lived in a garbage dump knew you. And can you tell me how did you participate, like Hanna Polak, in their life, and how do you maintain relations with main character Julia?
This is a unique project, of course, something better to come, and the fact that we shot it over a period of so many years is, first of all, because I was genuinely interested in helping the people. So making a movie was not my main I would say project at the garbage dump. I was most importantly interested in bringing people help. And because of this, I would come personally, I would bring food. Maybe food was not such an important thing because people could find food, but sometimes I would bring also some good quality food. I would bring medicine which they needed. I would take people to the hospitals when they needed. I would try to place children in the orphanages. So all these different things created a situation in which I would go and come back to the people again, and over those years, of course, this built a relationship because people knew that I don't want to only make a film. I am there for them. They knew that I like them, first of all. I'm genuinely moved by their life situation, so they knew that I am there to help them, to change something in life. I care. And also it's an interesting thing because really those people, materially they can get by, but emotionally they feel very much abandoned by the society, they feel rejected by society, they feel like outcast of society. So I think for these people, this fact that you accept them, that you need them, that you like them, this was the most important, because they don't need anything, but they feel very bitter that they lost everything in life, they lost this kind of entry into normal society. So in a way, when I came, they also embraced me. They were very happy that somebody have any needs in them, is interested in their lives, that wants to follow their story, want to listen to them, jokes with them, spend time with them, like friend with a friend, not just only on the camera all the time. That sometimes you care so much that you go through some hardships yourself, just in order to get some of them out. Of course, this was dangerous. Sometimes it was dangerous for me to be at the garbage dump. I could be arrested, I could face different charges because of that, I could be beaten. So for different reasons, those people knew that I'm risking, and I am not only risking because I want to make a movie, but I am also risking to take them out. They knew that the things that I am making the film is one of the ways how I am trying to help them, how I try to bring this situation of them to attention of the society, of the people. So because of this, they were also very thankful. They were also very thankful for kind of, I think this is the biggest actually problem for them, that they feel rejected. So when you show them a little bit of kindness, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of friendship, they also open their heart, they also accept you, they also embrace you. And we are all humans, so when we kind of find this moment when you meet another person, even if the person is in a difficult material situation, but if you give a little bit of kindness to this person, you immediately get a reaction. And sometimes this reaction for me was such that I feel that these people gave me much more than I was able to give to them. It's mutual relationship. It is not one-way relationship. It's not that you come and make a film or you come and help people and this is what you give and you do. It is also that you get these most precious moments of exchanging friendship, love, some talks with the people, which will be your very precious thing for all your life. There are some memories, some moments with the people which I will never forget. They gave me just so much, I feel.
Okay, it looks like the part of mission of your films is to help to real people. For example, now it is created organization Active Child Care in Norway, where it's possible to donate money and even to help, for example, directly to Julia. But not always it happens with documentaries. What is the main mission of these documentaries?
You know, first of all, I was touched by the fact that small little children may live on the street by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares. And I have to tell you that first when I met the children on the streets of Moscow, I didn't think about making a movie. I was just thinking what I can do as a person to somehow rather help them, because I knew I cannot go about my everyday life and not do anything with the fact that I already met these kids, I already saw how they live and die on the streets, how they suffer, how they not needed to anyone. And it was at the time when there were hundreds and thousands of children of the streets, on the streets of Moscow. So first I started to organize my friends. We were bringing some food, some medical assistance, psychological assistance. Later the children started to live in the apartment which I rented. Then we created an organization, then the organization in Norway was created, first in Russia. So this is a little bit like a snowball, you know, you start to make a small snowball and it starts to grow, you know, the more people start to be involved, it affects more people, your activities, more people want to take part in it, you know, there are some other people who want to help in different ways, you start to meet more and more people, more and more, so it's kind of like a growing thing. And of course not with every film, not with every project this is going to be the same, but I think this subject of children touched people so deeply that there were many people who decided to start the organization. It's impossible to do it just one person. You can ignite something, you can start something as a journalist, as a filmmaker, as a director. Of course you can start speaking about the subject, you can show a story which touches people's heart. I can give you an example. For example, when we I had some journalists coming from English television, which made a small report and show in the news. But this news piece ended to be shown in America. And one woman who watched the program at 4 a.m. in Washington, because she had a very sick husband, she was quite well off, quite a rich woman at this time, she contacted me, she found my contact through television, and then she basically came down to Russia, she contacted me and then she came down to Russia and she offered her help. She gave some money to one of the orphanages. The orphanage started to accept children from the streets. The children who saw that the help is realistic, that they can learn something, that this woman wants to invest some funds and it's possible for them something, they started to approach me and ask, tell me a story. For example, one child would say, I always wanted to be a cook or a hairdresser, or some other stories like this. So you can see that when you offer people a real help, there is a possibility of a real change in people's life, because they also know it. You know, when you don't really have a very serious offer, people know it, that you help them to a degree. But when you are able to offer them something when they can really change their life, some of these people, they would take this opportunity and they would do it. And this also shows how you can start yourself as a one person, but then you have journalists who came and make a report, this women who came from United States, then an orphanage, which because this woman offered some help to this orphanage, they started to take the children. We started to be able to put some of the children on in a very good orphanage. And we had this one child, for example, who was 14 years old. He was illiterate. His parents died on the street. He was actually coming from Tajikistan, and although he was Russian, because it was after the Soviet Union collapsed, and he didn't have any documents. he would be basically, if he would stay on the street, he would be, by reaching 18 years old, he would be a bum, he wouldn't be able to receive Russian documents, etc. Because we were able, through this woman, thanks to this report, place this child in a very good orphanage. We managed to find people who help with his documentation, and right now he has his own apartment, which he received from the government, because he, of course, got the status of being an orphan. He got Russian papers, Russian documents, which he should have gotten because he was Russian. Even he was born in Tajikistan, but he was born out of Russian descendants, Russian parents. And when Soviet Union collapsed, there was no room in Tajikistan for people like them, so they came back to Russia. They didn't have anything, they ended up on the street. So he basically was raised by street. He ended up to have 2 professions, a driving license. Right now he has his own family and child. And when you look at this effect, of course this is not only my work, it's a work of a group of people who can be touched by what you do. Sometimes the charity organizations can take your work and move forward. Sometimes other journalists would write story based on your story. So I feel, like I said, you know, it's for me, it's a feeling of the snowball. When you start something, even alone, even as a one person, and especially with media, you have this great power that you can touch on, you know, this was actually why I decided to also make a film. This was not a main focus when I went to the street. I didn't want to make a movie, but then I was thinking, you know, I will not be able to change policy. I will not be able to change the law. But if the journalists start to make stories, if we will start to show this to the public opinion, and people start to become angry, and people start to be upset, and people start to be outraged, the government would have to step into the situation and maybe change the policy, maybe open some kind of programs, etc., etc. And this happened with the children of Leningradsky, with my previous work. So I feel that although, yes, it's true that with not every project you go to such an extent that you create, you know, a charity organization, but with not every project this is even necessary. And again, as a one person, it's impossible to do everything. But if you have a society, if you have a group of people, if you bring some subject up, then people are able to do something, you know, to bring some reaction.
Let's back to the film. Something Better to Come is very artistic, you know, the music is very voluble, horrible things such a skeleton of dead man are shown beautifully. And it is montaged not in the chronological order. It was done to build micro stories, micro plots in a film. And where is this line between a documentary and feature film? Can you tell me?
You know, this particular film really is a little bit like a fiction film, because you were like a feature story, because you are dealing with the many years of the materials, and because of the development of the life situation. Like, for example, Yula is growing up, and you can really see the changes. The time is protagonist in the film, because Yula is also you know, you can see these different dramatical moments of her life when I am very close with the camera, and even I am interfering, because I am behind the scenes telling her, don't do this, don't do this. But of course this is not shown in the film, it's not a part of the film, it's not important for a viewer at this moment, or maybe even if it is, it would be a completely different film. I didn't want to put myself as a protagonist, as a hero too much. You can only naturally as it comes, because it's 14 years, so it's also my journey. So naturally I didn't want to cut interviews when people say Hanna and they approach camera. I didn't want to artificially cut it. I thought, okay, this is fine, I can leave it. But at the same time, I am not really trying to be a protagonist of the film, so you don't know many things which are behind the scenes. So of course when you watch the story as it is edited, you may get a feeling that it is a little bit like a fiction film, you know, because it's actually, the material is so rich. It allows you to build this kind of story. But I think, and it's also a question of balance, because if you are in a horrifying place like this, it's a big question how much people can handle. Of course I had more horrible footage, but it's you sifting, you make a decision, would I use it or not, should I use it or not, does it bring something, or we only basically dwelling on showing the cruelty and tragic of the situation, but does it really bring something to the story? So I think these are all decisions. I think this film is very true, it's very realistic, but personally I don't get the feelings as we try to show the death in a beautiful way. But on the other hand, like I said, it's also are you creating a piece of art, you're creating an artwork, you're creating a film. It's not only a reportage, it's not only, I mean, you can have this done in different ways, and I felt that having already so much suffering in it, you don't want to make it too salty, you don't want to make it unbearable. It's already a difficult film to watch for many people. It's already the part of reality which everybody wants to close their eyes and they don't see. So of course you want to show it in a more kind of digestible way, that you want to, it's not that you try to make death beautiful or something like this, absolutely not, but at the same time you very closely watch where is this balance which people can handle or it's too much for them. So I think this is like an issue, you know, which you have to make decision in your editing room and in your shooting and in your work as a journalist.
Okay, Hanna, thank you for such an interesting conversation. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for this invitation.
Я нагадаю, що ми розмовляли про документальне кіно із Ганною Полак. Мене звати Марія Цигилик. До побачення.